episode number 6 of the Matt podcast. We're back again, Matt. Oh my lord! Oh my lord!
Number six, bro. Dude, it's been a week, and we always say this. It's been a week, right?
Yeah.
But what has this week been? This week has been. We keep getting weird. It's like time keeps moving forward. It's unreal.
It's strange, isn't it?
But it is so weird to me. It actually feels like I haven't spoken to you in like 3 months.
That's what it feels like. That's how much time has passed. Well, it's not actually.
Yeah,
but it's pretty close.
It's not. But it's just because we generally like speak a couple of times during the week or try to.
Yeah. I don't know what's been going on with me, man. Like since we started the podcast, right? Since we started the podcast, my weeks and like after work hours have just been getting busier and busier and busier. I'm just like, what the hell's going on? Like, I think I jumped on like twice this week, Monday and maybe Tuesday for some iRacing, which was so much fun, man. I'm actually like, and I knew actually it was Monday, Wednesday, and I knew after the Wednesday I wasn't going to jump on again until like maybe this afternoon, this evening, tonight, which is fine, is what it is. But like, holy crap, dude, I've just been busy and I'm really looking forward to like my week off between Chrissy and New Year's. It's going to be
oh man, I'm going to be around as well. It's going to be good.
I said to Ash, I'm like, all right, so here's the thing. Aside from my sister's birthday, don't book anything in that involves me because I am not.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be.
Because that week between Christmas and New Year's, it literally evaporates so quick usually, right? And the reason it happens for me like that is because like I've got something on Boxing Day, my sister's birthday on the 27th. The 28th is usually we're usually doing something else with family. 29th, 30th are usually like something days or nothing. So, but then again, they go too quick. And you've basically got a day where you know it's like, oh, I've got nothing to do today. Sweet. This year, Boxing Day, I'm doing nothing. 27th, sister's birthday, we'll do something. 28, 29, 30, 31. Oh, you best believe we'll be out here racing cars around tracks, doing the goddamn speed. I'm looking forward to it.
And it will be a good track, I reckon, because we get away from the Sukuba stuff, which will be good. But
I've enjoyed my time at Sukuba.
Yes. We'll get to that random talking point later.
We will.
You've had a bit of a busy week, haven't you, mate? This is why I haven't spoken to my bat.
This is why I've been AFK, and I was only lucky last week I managed to get the setup up and running and functional for a 3-part podcast, which the third part should be up today, being Sunday. Hopefully. Sorry, because copyright, although they said
MCA stuff. They're doing the right thing, actually. That's pretty crazy.
Strange. But yeah, no, I got the house painted. Now that was an effort and a half because I had to pull everything apart. And since then, it's been like I'll finish work at 4 o'clock, home by 4:30 at the latest, and then I have to spend like an hour or two just like rearranging the house and getting all that sort of stuff sorted, which it's fine, needs to be done obviously, but it's annoying because I don't have time to do other things. So that's why I managed to sneak in Monday. Like Monday night, I had a million other things I need to do, but I'm like, fuck this, I want to do some iRacing. And then Tuesday night, I came home, rejigged my setup, which is why there's a steering wheel to my right here. Which works.
It's actually
so
really good.
Works so much better. And I plugged in a 4th screen.
Oh yeah,
that's why I got the 4th screen there, and I just tweaked that a little bit. I mean, it's not the best screen in the world; it's my spare, but it will do the job. And whilst I'm running this vertical screen setup, I got like 2 horizontal and 1 vertical. I'm thinking about switching it back. But I don't know how I feel about the vertical screen for my 3rd screen, and I think that would be better if I had 3 horizontals. I don't know. Anyway. That's that. But yeah, that's why I've been busy. We've just been doing stuff around the house and it's trying to get everything set up. And we're having a baby. So there's that too. Not that that's really been super involved. Yeah. It hasn't been super involved with that stuff just yet. We've got a 20-week scan coming up. Well, I think it's on the 3rd of Jan, 4th of Jan, which is going to be exciting. So you know what's messed up? And I kind of like, when you go to the ultrasounds, you get to see, like, you see your baby, which is weird because obviously it's still inside the tummy. Super strange. But I feel like, oh man, I haven't seen our baby for ages because it's nearly been 6 weeks because you get 8 weeks because you have a 12-week scan. So we had a 12-week scan, but we had it at 13. So it's nearly been 8 weeks since we've seen our little one. And it's just like, oh man, I just really want to, like, you know, catch up. How you doing? What stage of the growth are you at? All this sort of stuff. But yeah, so that's been happening as well. And then like, I mean, we only just touched on it before with cable management. It's I'm, as you can see, the room here. I haven't had time to touch this room. Right, I have all of my pops and collectible stuff and all my cool things are literally sitting in the storage box right now in another room. And that other room, let me tell you, is like looks like a bomb's hit it. Ridiculous. So I've got all that, but I don't want to touch any of that stuff and bring it in until I'm happy with where my cables are and where my lighting is and all that sort of stuff. Because I know once
it's all in there, you're not going to ever touch it again.
Correct. And that's the thing. Yeah, this setup as it is right now isn't going to be changed for years at this point. Like there's no other way I'll orientate this setup. I'm actually pretty lucky that I managed to squeeze this little sim rigging thing I've got going on, which is super handy. And I could actually tweak that. And get like an ultra wide. I reckon the ultra wide would go right.
Dude, I'm the same. I'm eventually like obviously I'll be moving next year, but I want to have it so this is independent, so I don't have to keep moving it. Into where this is, and then I can set the height right now.
Do you know what room you'll be setting up in?
It's going to be about the same size as this. It will be the same size. But yeah, if I could just have it like independently there, you know what I mean? Like I can just go from here to there, and then
with the click on the stream deck, you just like flick it straight over to that. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, it's a bit of a work that I want to put into it to get that all set up. But for the most part, I want to do that. I want to have like a stand and then like a big monitor. I think I'm just gonna go single one. I probably could do VR as well. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm toying with it, man. I'm really toying with it.
But like the only thing is, I would want to stream. I wouldn't want to stream the perspective of my VR. I would want to stream the perspective of like just a
screen,
actual screen. Yeah. So
I
know you can do that. Yeah. I know you can do that, but we'll see. But yeah, like I said, cable management, man. Cable management is my like oh man, I have. Just to put it this way, to be able to do any of the shit that I do, I have a monitor here. This is the new edition. So there's one here. That's literally just for iRacing, right? And that's also my streaming PC. That's the monitor. And I have 3 monitors. I have the obviously the webcam, the Elgato, and then that has 2 cords going out of the back of it. So there's already 5 cords that and then the HDMI's and or the DVI's. Sorry, the display ports, I should say. That's what I use now.
Yeah.
They go into the gaming PC that you can see over here. And then there's a streaming PC underneath. And so they've got their own. And then I've got my coaxial, my stream deck, like the keyboards, bro. Like I am trying to go as much wireless shit as I can because
I was curious with the wireless stuff. Like how do you find, like, do you have 2 wireless mouses for separate PCs?
Nah, I'm gonna. I actually want to.
Okay, would that not trigger like frequencies and shit? Like,
no, because it uses a little. So just uses one of these. So it's just a little. If you guys are obviously just looking on the Spotify or listening,
if you're listening,
that's just a little. It's literally a little dongle, USB dongle.
Yeah. Okay.
Go straight into the PC, and then and that's it. That's
cool.
That's all you need.
That's real cool.
And so it has its own, like, I guess what's it called, independent signal. So one would literally be in that PC and one would be in the other PC. So
yeah, that makes sense.
You know, yeah. So I mean, I think we're at the point now where like Bluetooth technology is at that point where we're okay with that stuff. Like
I just remember back when like it just
the controllers, man.
Controllers and COD lands back in the day. Not that we were at those particular ones when there's like 300 people battling it out and the fucking.
Well, I mean, I was there at one.
Yeah, actually, you were.
Yeah.
Some of the best photos you got for your profiles are there.
100%. Yeah.
Aside from the ones that we took, you know. in these jerseys, actually.
It's me. In these jerseys. I was just like, but yeah. So that was an issue. That was an issue at that LAN. Yeah, that was crazy. And we were all USB linked in as well, and there were still things going wrong.
With the what's it called? I can't remember what that thing was
called. Not the Cronus. Yeah, no, we didn't have Cronus.
Oh, this is pre-Cronus. Shit.
Yeah. This is literally links to the consoles, and the consoles just were getting overloaded for some reason.
That's just annoying. But no, that'd be good. When are you next year? Middle of next year in the house? Not sure.
Mid to late. We're not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all right. Hopefully it's mid. Hopefully we can get it set up and you got all your bits and pieces. I feel like it's going to be a good week.
It would change. Oh, it's gonna be great. Like, dude, to be able to, it's the difference between like renting.
And
Like, I mean,
owning.
I'm still renting, I guess, but like
Yeah, yeah,
it just to be able to put a shelf up
yep,
is gonna be like just
yep.
I hate shit on floors, man. Like I actually it's one of
Same.
my pet peeves. I
Uh-huh.
hate it so much. So the more I can lift off the floor and put on shelving and stuff like that, like I want to bring like I have a full um I have a cabinet at mom and dad's house. Like a lot of it's from when I owned a house when I was younger.
Yeah, yeah,
But I obviously bought all this shit and I'm thankful that they have storage and we have a shed with the race car and stuff in it because
yeah,
most of my shit's there as well.
yeah, yeah.
And I have literally cabinets, like glass cabinets of like trophies, and I also have like glass cabinets of Lego. And I
Oh,
can't
yeah, you got
do
your
anything.
Lego there,
Yeah, like my Millennium Falcons, my X-Wings, and my TIE
dude.
Fighters, dude, they're all in this cabinet that look like it's really well presented. And I was just like, Mom, can I have that? And I just want to be able to put that like
Oh man, can you imagine that in like a little like a background for you, like here? Like we're not so much here where you are now, but like
yeah. I think
once you,
eventually I'm gonna like stand the thing behind me. I think I'm eventually gonna vertically stand that up.
yeah, I think
I
that's a
think
good
that'll,
idea
yeah, it gives more room as well. So
for sure,
like
for sure.
I said, I can't do that without shelving. So it's
No, well,
yeah.
that's the
A
thing.
lot of shit, man. Like I opened that cupboard.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's in there.
No, yeah, I have a room dedicated to that kind of stuff right now, and it's driving me insane. Ash's setup's in there,
Oh.
and she's like, can I play Sims?" I'm like, yeah, look, give me a week and I'll get it tidied out, and I probably will do that over the Christmas break. Like I know, obviously,
Yeah, we still
28th.
have
I'm
things.
gonna
Yeah,
do it on the
still things.
28th. I'm gonna spend half a day just getting all that stuff tidy, because once that's tidy, then there's nothing really left for me to do aside from a little bit of skirting and stuff like that around the house, which I'm more than happy to take my time with, because the skirting, obviously, it's, the finer detailed stuff. So I want to sand it back and paint it, make it look nice. And I'm still on the edge of actually attempting to paint all my arcs and skirts white to match the new walls. Because at the moment
Yep.
they're a timber color, and it's a little bit jarring going from this really nice crisp white to like the timber.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
I
a
get
bit
you.
annoying.
Get
And
you.
originally I wasn't going to do anything with it. I was just going to let it be. But it's just once you start renovating and doing this sort of stuff, the more shit you see you want to fix, and it's just like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
And it gets really hard.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we started our front renovations literally started this year, 2021. Is it 21? Yeah. Started 2021. We did the front renovations, got it excavated out. I mean, I'm pretty sure, oh no, you wouldn't have seen it because of COVID. Yeah. All that stuff started, and I haven't, and just until now, we got a retainer wall in, we got the concrete in, everything's like done now. I think I sent you a photo yesterday, like the concreting. Now,
Bro, it looks so good.
oh, it's
It
just
looks so
tidy,
good.
bro. It's just tidy.
Yeah.
And
I'm keen to get over there again for sure.
man,
I
yeah, hopefully soon, eh?
yeah.
The note to anybody listening, watching, or paying any attention whatsoever: do not decide to do concreting on a 32-degree day. Okay? Don't do it. Because by the end of the day, you will be cramping, you'll be laying on the floor wanting to die, and your concrete will go off too quick, so you can't quite finish it the way you want to finish it, which is really, really annoying. My case, however, is not so bad, because we're gonna get some there's a product you can get. You can actually spray it down on your concrete, and it leaves like a really nice colored textured finish. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we're gonna have a crack at that. Not anytime soon, like, it's, that doesn't have to happen now. It can happen down the track, but getting the concrete was the main thing, and that's why I'm not too stressed about the finish, because we had a stippled finish, which is just like a textured finish. I'm gonna mute my phone, and because it was going off so quick because of the heat, and we had a little bit of a breeze as well. It was just really hard to work, and with only 3 of us for that amount of concrete, it was rough. Plus, Dad had a quintuple bypass, so I mean, I never expected him to go hard. He just did what he can do. He's good with the finishing, and that's what I was hoping he could do. But by the time we got to that point, it was too hot and it was going off. So Sam and myself had to do a majority of it, which was good. But we've never really done that before. Dad knows what he's doing, so he was just giving us pointers and stuff like that. But learning on the job in 31 degrees, not it, Chief.
That's actually a pretty interesting point. I know it's not in the podcast, but like, I've always thought about this when like you learn a lot from your parents, like a lot, right? Especially like I
Yep.
mean, I guess like for you and I, it's like your dad, right?
Yep.
Because your mum does like a couple of good pointers how to, I guess, if you want to learn how to cook and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like not stereotyping
No,
that,
no,
by the way.
and that's
Just,
not.
that's
I don't
generally the point, because they like
Yeah,
they like
yeah.
actually spending time
I think that's a
making
stereotype for that
recipes.
generation, because that generation do
Yeah,
enjoy cooking.
that's what they
And
were.
we're coming
Yeah.
out of these stereotypes now, obviously,
Yeah,
but
of course.
they are there.
Yeah, but that's the sort of thing I would go to mum with. Like, how do I
Yeah.
do like I guess all the chores around the house? How do I
Mhm.
get this stain out of my clothes? Like that
Yeah.
sort of thing is
Generally
mum would be
speaking,
like,
they've got the
oh, this is
experience
it.
with it.
Yeah,
Just use this product; it works so good.
yeah.
And you use, and you're like, "Holy fuck! How did I not know
You
about
go,
this?"
and then you go like, Daddy's like, just hot water.
Yeah, soap, water, just work it
Soap,
out.
water.
Whatever. Yeah.
And then so when you go to your dad, like my dad especially, like I guess with like car wise, mechanical wise,
Yeah.
right? Well, I've obviously learned a lot from him, but I'll never be at the same, I think, knowledge as what he's experienced, because like
Yeah.
we don't have this point of time where like, I mean, I guess I can get a project car and strip it all apart and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
like you literally just summed up your week, right?
Mm-hmm.
When in that space of time have you actually been able to leisurely just go and be like, yeah, I'm gonna like work on the car this weekend? Like you just literally like can't. Even dad
No.
can't now, right? And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
older,
Yeah.
and it's interesting to me, like you said, like he's got experience with the concrete thing and all that sort of stuff, and it's just like it's that same
Yeah.
like same thing. Like I
Well,
wonder how much knowledge you want to. In my opinion, I want to like learn as much as I can from my, like, I guess the older generations,
well,
as
yeah,
much as I
absolutely.
can before while they're here, because like by the time I get to that point, am I gonna have the knowledge to be able to like share with my kids? Like
Well,
that's
I
the
don't
one thing
think.
that worries me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you will necessarily, but you think about that. This is a generational thing, yeah. So my dad, when he
Hmm.
was in his early, like late teens, early 20s, even to his mid 20s, they literally, him and all his mates, they would spend the entire weekends rebuilding cars, doing this with cars, and I'm sure your dad was probably the same. That's what
Yep.
they did. That's
Yeah,
all they did.
That was their entertainment. They didn't have
Correct.
video games.
Correct. Exactly. So, but that at the time was in that time period of where the world was at, technology and stuff like that, entertainment. That's what they did. What we do is completely different. What our kids do are going to be completely different again. So I think the knowledge that we have and we're gaining now is going to be more in line with what our kids need from us later. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And I was just thinking like this is also, yeah, the way the world is changing
Yeah.
in terms of like just general automation. Like
Mhm,
automation
mhm.
has been like a
It's huge.
massive like difference in it. And it's interesting to me that, like, I mean, obviously, well, if you guys do not know that I have had a trade in mechanical fitting since I was like 18, 19.
Yeah.
I'm now 28. So that
Mm.
knowledge and seeing how that's evolved over the years, from like how much manual stuff, or I guess uh how much people relied on other people,
Yeah.
right? To now people relying on robots.
Yep.
That is like, eventually, I mean, I don't want to say that we're going to go to the extreme of like Skynet. I've had this conversation with Ellie as well. It's just like so
I
obviously
don't think anybody wants that.
no, with the machines that I've been making lately, there is a robot in every single one of them, right?
Yeah.
The
Right.
16 machines that I've been making, we're up to like the 13th or 14th, right? Every single one of those robots has been programmed the same, but yet every single one of them has had a different personality.
That's so strange. That's so strange, dude.
Like we've had ones where
What do you mean? Are they
they've
AI
just
based tech?
no,
They're
no,
not.
it's just it's literally a so what it what it is it's called a PLC.
Yeah.
And a PLC is basically the brain of the whole system that
Yeah.
it's running under, right? So things you can link to. So essentially, like how you would set up from a computer, your monitors, right? So you go into those ports. Oh, that sends an image. It all is processed from this big computer,
Box.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
essentially the idea, but think of it like the size of like a, I don't know, a camera box. You know, it's only a small little thing, right?
Like a
but in
NUC.
that is it. Yeah, it's just like the size of a Go XLR or whatever, right? It's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
size, right? That sits in a cabinet, and then everything from that sends a signal out to any other IO links or whatever, and then that communicates with the robot, with all the other stuff that they want to do. It will open up drawers. It will do that, like, to be able to test the things that we're wanting to test, right?
Yeah.
So that program is exactly the same. The program in the robot is exactly the same, but there are stubborn ones and there are ones that are easy. There are ones that just work no problem. There are ones that don't want to work at all. and there's just these little, at least they literally have personalities,
That's so
and there's
weird, bro.
absolutely no AI in it whatsoever.
It's super strange.
Yeah,
That's
I
you
just
know what? You
I
know
like
it's pretty. Think about that in regard like with motors. Motors, you could have two of the same engine, and
yeah,
they
exactly the same
have
thing, same production line.
yeah, and they
Yep.
might come off next to each other, and one just performs that little bit better,
Just
or
better.
or worse, or whatever it is.
Yep.
So yeah, I wonder. It's so strange, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it
But then
comes
it's like,
down to like
obviously that point,
such
like
small
with
things.
with those machines, right? That to me is like where I think the how we're stepping forward in
Yeah,
that technology, and then like my mechanical fitter trade will exist. I believe will exist for years. Like I think it will be even
oh,
like
absolutely.
because but obviously things like tool making is died out because obviously we have now computer lathes, we have
Yeah,
computer
yeah.
generated mills that can make all this shit faster than a human could ever do, right?
Yep.
But obviously they need an operator to be able to operate those, so they have to be trained in that thing,
Of course.
right? But then so in terms like getting back to that whole knowledge thing, right? Maybe that's the like there's no right or wrong answer here. I just sort of like it's just a conversation that I was saying, hey Matt, this is one thing I've actually wanted to talk about for a while.
Yeah.
Like it's just like maybe that's it. Maybe like the knowledge that we pass on to our children, the reason it's like not going to be the same is because we are living in a world that isn't like their world or was
Absolutely.
like their world.
Yeah.
And it's just going to keep developing that way. Like they're going to teach, like that's the thing. Our kids will teach us things that we will
100%
never
they will,
ever.
man.
We
Yeah.
were like that existed back
Well,
like 13 years ago.
Talk like we had a conversation ages ago about your mum asking about streaming and all that sort, like the technology wise of it.
Yeah.
For her yoga
At the start
stuff.
of lockdown.
Yeah,
the start of yeah.
With Zoom's what triggered that conversation we had.
Zoom. Yeah.
And
yeah.
You taught her stuff which she never would have ever known about. You know,
Or it wouldn't have ever been on the radar of them to ever be like, I need that
Yes.
knowledge.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing that I find.
And that's why I personally like my opinion on this is I feel like we are in such a our age group is in such a good time period, because when I started school there wasn't any computers, everything was handwritten, everything was books. By the time I finished school we had fucking smartphones. Like that 13 year
when we
span
thought
of
flip
time.
phones was it.
Yo,
We thought
exactly,
flip
dude. It was so
like,
cool.
that was it. We were like, dude, this is sick.
Yeah, we're in the future. Fucking get out of it.
I'm in the Matrix, bro.
I feel like we were really lucky to have lived through both of those periods of time where there was no technology, and now technology is every aspect of our life. And I think one of the biggest things that we need to try to pass on to our kids is to be as adaptable and flexible as possible. Because this, like, it's not slowing down. Development of technology is not going to slow down. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. If anything, it's going to speed up. And for us, that's a scary thought, because just as I just said, like the time period we've lived in, there's been so much change.
There's already things that
Huge.
I'm just like, I can't be fucked learning that.
Yeah.
I really have. And I don't mean to be that way, but I just don't see it part of like.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's hard to see that part of it right now, but in 10 years' time, it might be like daily life sort of stuff. That's crazy.
The stuff. Yeah,
that's crazy to think about, and that's the stuff I think why now kids.
I don't want to be left behind.
No, well, you know what I find the most interesting. My grandfather, he's 90 now. He's not that great. He's dialysis, lots of stuff, so he's not in the best health. He begged my mum and auntie to get him an iPhone. Like, he was like, and we were just worried about it because he doesn't quite understand it properly, and he doesn't understand the implications of data. But he just wanted an iPhone. So so he's got like an iPhone 4 SE or whatever. And that does the job. You can actually set them up pretty well for oldies that don't really know, and like bigger buttons and all that sort of stuff. And he loves it, man.
Yeah.
He thinks he's the coolest thing because he's
so
trying to keep up with technology. He's 90.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I mean, that's what I hope. I hope that I do. I mean, to be honest, that's how
at
you
least try. You know? Yeah, absolutely. You keep testing your brain.
If you just go like, if you just keep going through life, going like, nah, this is it. This is what I'm gonna stay at. I mean, there's those type of people. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
That to me is not. I just want to keep learning. Like,
yeah.
This is why I love my job, right? Because I just every day I go there, I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
I'm learning that like, okay, this robot's a pain in the ass. Like,
yeah.
And then once I know that knowledge and able to get better at it, then that next challenge comes, and it's just like that. That to me, that's growth. That's literally how I want to just go through my entire life being like that. I don't want to ever be at that point. Which
Where
like I said, it
this is the
worries
ceiling.
me. Yeah, it worries me that when sometimes I go, I don't want to learn that. Like, because it's
come on, man, you
I
really
just go,
should.
yeah, should I? And
Yeah.
it's like, but yeah, I know. No, yeah,
It's tricky.
good.
It's so tricky. But well, I mean, let's just work out. We'll see how we go in 10 years. If we're still having this podcast in 10 years,
Yeah,
that's good. I'm happy with that.
that's great.
It's
Yeah,
really, we'll be like 500 million episodes deep.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't have a rant for this week, and I mean, I've had a
I mean that probably
it's been a good week.
probably didn't need, probably didn't need to be a rant. Probably a bit of insight into the brain of Matt.
Yeah. Collective brain of Matt.
But yeah, we said we were going to do a separate episode, like a 20-minute thing for the Game Awards for the Spotify listeners and all the other audio listeners. But
platforms.
we've decided that we're actually probably going to accumulate it into this one because it's just going to be, well, it's not anything to do with easier. It's just that it sort of wouldn't have made sense if we did it a 20-minute one.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it was last weekend and trying to find time. We were trying to do it through the week, but obviously, as you've heard, the week has been pretty crazy. Also, if anyone's going, oh my God, sleeper jerseys. I just wanted to wear mine today, and so Matt changed as well. There's no like, there's nothing in it. There's nothing behind it.
There's nothing behind it. It's just
there's nothing behind it.
Matt's of a feather flock together.
Yeah,
that's what
this
we're
doing. Honestly, this is like one of the last times. This is one of the last times that we saw each other. It was in when I was wearing this before lockdown.
Oh, you're kidding! That's true. PAX. My God.
It's the second last time that I saw you that year, and I remember because last time I saw you, just before it all fucking went to shit. Yeah, I was like, bro, next year, man, I'm coming down like 8 times. Yeah, and you're like, do it, man. Every month. I was like, every month, man. I'm gonna fucking come.
Yeah, we had a string going for ages.
And I was just like, yep.
Damn it, dude.
Yeah, I think last time, actually, we Ellie and I just came just before lockdown because we came in like Feb.
Yeah, around my birthday.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
That was
so. Yeah, this was one of the last times.
2019, 2020. That is just an eternity ago.
It's just a blur.
And we're about to head into 2022, man.
I know.
That's just crazy stuff. So anyway, we will put I mean, the Game Awards. Let's do a quick little wrap of it. I had a great time. That was great. 3.5 hours, so well spent. It was actually closer to 4.5 hours for us because of what happened.
We had a few interruptions.
Bro, I had a few interruptions. I hit the deck, my chair. I mean, I'm not used to this hard surface I'm on now.
Also, thank you for everyone that has seen that clip on Twitter. If you're not following us on Twitter, please do, because that is one of the best things I've seen. And yes, I got front row seats for it, but I was more worried about. I was just more worried about you. I was like, dude, are you okay?
Have you had a stroke? What the fuck did you do? Yeah, no, I'm not. After that incident, I've decided I do want to get a rug for the room, just because it is extra. I've never sat on one of these chairs with the rolly wheels on a hard surface. Now you're sitting on carpet, and I've always been on carpet. This is hard surface, and it is very slippery. So if you just happen to not put your ass in the right spot, you can go A over T, which I did, as you've seen on Twitter. Yes. And you saw at the time live, which was really cool whilst we were recording. But the reason, I was in a bit of a crazy moment because my sister, my sister got engaged. That was really exciting. So
that was awesome. That's so good, so good, so good.
So there's so much exciting shit to look forward to because they're moving out this year. Oh, sorry, next year as well. They're moving out of home. Well, they should be. If they're not, that's kind of weird. But yeah, we're having a kid. They're getting married. Like the next 12 months is going to be pretty wild. So I'm excited for that. Not to mention, 52 episodes of the podcast.
Oh, yeah. So the Game Awards. There were some pretty crazy highlights. We could talk about. I mean, obviously, Game of the Year. If you still haven't watched it and you still want to go through it, and I understand that, tune out now. Spoiler warning, but it was last weekend.
Yeah.
Game of the Year went to It Takes Two, which was like. I was so stoked by that, man. I honestly was so stoked.
I love that indie or sort of smaller game studio games are getting more
He's
and
making
more
unique
recognition.
stuff, man.
They're
He's making
actually
unique stuff.
pushing. And I watched a video this week from a Drifter. Drifter used to be a guy I watched for Call of Duty videos years ago.
Yeah, man, that's an old name,
right? And that just popped on my feed, and I was like, and he's like, AAA Games dying, and I was like, holy shit! Like I watched the video, and it's true. All they're doing is doing this cookie cutter bullshit, bringing out the same old thing with the same old bugs. I mean, exactly right, and we've talked about it at length in previous podcasts, and even back when we did the sleeper podcast, like. They're just losing it. They don't care. They're complacent. All they know is if they bring out a game once a year, they can make X amount of dollars, which I understand is good for their investors. But it's not good for gaming. That's why I'm so rapt to not see
growing the actual scene is not actually
pushing the envelope for for video games and immersion and interactiveness and storytelling, all this stuff that they're happening now. Like that's why like Elden Ring excites me because that's completely new IP. Pretty sure it's new IP, isn't it?
New IP, but
it's
like
new IP, and it looks like it's gonna be a deep story.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be one of the. It's gonna be one of those Souls-esque games, or it's Souls-like actually. It's not Souls-esque because people will roast me for that. But yeah, so it's gonna have that same combat, and I think it's gonna have the same sort of storytelling as Souls. Although the other thing that's really interesting is the last trailer they released at the TGAs. That was also another big recap thing.
Huge, yeah.
But that trailer actually had more narrative than most Souls games do. Like, so, because usually all the Souls games show is like, obviously the premise is that you need to basically regain yourself. Like, that's the idea of, right? Yeah. In this one, it was a lot more like, this is the narrative. Now you got to follow it.
Yep.
Right. So there wasn't any of, there was a lot of things to that trailer. Obviously, I think, George R. R. Martin being involved and stuff like that, it's already cryptic because obviously we've seen it with Game of Thrones and trailers like that. But
true.
The actual I'm actually really keen for that because I love his storytelling. I think that he definitely brings a lot to narrative, and also direction. So because like he will take you one direction, then all of a sudden do a 360 on you, and you'll be like, what has exactly just happened there? But yeah, so in that respect, I'm like super keen for that. We got to talk about the performances. Now, this is why we got DMCA, right? So
this is why part 3 didn't go up.
So part 3 hasn't gone up because there is actually you'll see it obviously like today, or like you will see it before this.
There's a very obvious cut in it that YouTube did for us so kindly. Okay, so this is Imagine Dragons basically ripped the stage apart and just killed it. And everyone else that features in that song, it was sick.
Sting at the start as well was incredible.
Yes, dude,
performances were just unreal. But yeah, Imagine Dragons. If you obviously haven't watched Arcane,
yeah, it's on my list too. Hey, I saw Spiderman. All right, so let's just we'll get there.
Yeah, no. So the Imagine Dragons did basically the opening, the theme song for Arcane, and I was wondering how they would do it, and it was incredible. It was, it's unbelievable. If you haven't seen it from the Game Awards, 100% go watch it. It's just like incredible. It is, and only gripe, I guess this is my round. It honestly did look like sometimes the orchestra would nailed it. In my opinion, they did an incredible job the entire way through the Game Awards. However, it looks like it was pre-recorded.
Yeah. There's a few
I don't know if it's me, but
did you pre-record that? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's almost like they've just
no way, man.
There's just like a few things that are just almost out of sync, but it might not be the case. Like we might be completely wrong.
Just be like video, audio. That's most things can happen like that. But just like if you are wanting to, and you really like get that shit like grinds your ears like it does me. Yeah. Just watch the drums. Because the drums don't make sense to what's actually happening at the time. So, yeah. And there's also one part where there's like a guitarist and they zoom in and they're not really changing chords.
Yeah.
So, just have it. But apart from that, the actual music itself they nailed it again for the Game Awards and stuff like that. So,
they're getting good at it. They're getting really good at it. It's at the level now where it's kind of like, I don't know what a big award ceremony is. Emmys, I guess, or the like movie
Oh, dude,
awards.
they're getting. What do we have? What were the actors there? Oh man, I'm trying to think who was actually. Yeah, they had Shang-Chi there.
That was really cool.
That was really good, bro. That was really good. Yeah, like they had like actual actors now coming to those awards. Like,
and I like that it's younger generation people too. I mean, that makes sense because it is a younger demographic. Totally get
Oscars,
that.
Isn't it?
Oscars. Yeah, Oscars is obviously still that that diamond standard of awards.
The red carpet and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, this is
getting
growing.
there. It's getting there, dude. I'm surprised.
And it's so good to see. Actually, the other thing as well that I really, really enjoyed from TGA is recognition from the diverse groups, like, and also that there's now like accessibility awards and stuff like that. I think it's like the second year they've had that and stuff.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Did Forza win that one?
Someone had they had the interpreter Forza. in the cutscenes. Yeah. And to me, like, we can touch on that actually because I've been watching Hawkeye too, and also Witcher season 2 is coming out, and that's so good. Anyway, but there is a lot more like, they're acknowledging that there are actors, like even Eternals had it as well. They're acknowledging that there's actually deaf people and blind people and people with disabilities, and they're actually now incorporating them and guess it's inclusion essentially, right?
Yeah.
So like it's no longer this time period of movies or whatever where it's just like, I don't know, you're either.
Well, they've got. I mean, and I can see why they're doing that because they want to get into
racial stereotypes. Is probably the better way to say it, right? So they've now just gone with that, like kick it out of the window sort of thing.
Yeah,
and now it's just this diverse universe.
And what I love most about that,
holy shit, that's the world.
Yeah, I mean, but the best part about that is when they do it, when it's done naturally and organically. That's when it's amazing. When you see there's some movies that have forced it. That's when it's just like, and I understand, they kind of that's sort of what you got to do now, but it sometimes takes away from the story. I don't have an example really to give you at the moment because there's a couple of movies I've seen that did it. I can't remember what they were called, but having that sort of thing there for the sake of it is a bit frustrating. If you're gonna have it that way, like, it needs to be done in a way that it's really nice and natural, and like instead of just like having. It's the old stereotype of, the first person to die in the movies back in the day, and what was it? Scary Movie took the piss out of that. They ran with it for like
actually,
5
to be fair
movies.
though, but that's the interesting thing. That Scary Movie is one of those movies that actually, it's stupid as well. I haven't watched them because of that, but that sort of stuff, right? It was like, it kind of made people realize that, that does happen a lot.
Yes,
it's almost like the start of that conversation.
Put a spotlight on it, and who knows? Maybe that was part of the catalyst, or that was the catalyst that sort of triggered that. No, I didn't stop. It's a touchy topic. It
is.
As us two seeing,
that's what I said.
Tricky, but
like I said,
it's awesome.
Like I said,
it's good to see.
It's really cool to see diversity now starting to actually weaver its way in, and but. What else was in the Game Awards? Yes, Star Wars.
Star Wars. That's a touchy subject now, obviously, because there's a bit of drama surrounding it.
Bit of drama. But we're going to touch on that as well.
And as you said before, it's allegations at this stage, isn't it? So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like he's had. Well,
he has said some questionable shit.
He has some. He has. This isn't the first time he's been in the spotlight.
For this kind of stuff.
And obviously IGN as well. If you guys aren't familiar with the articles, they're pretty easy to find. Just Google them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to that topic. I think. I mean, we can go there now actually, and then make it a bit.
I just want to touch on Star Wars, man, because we didn't really have a time to digest that whilst we're watching. Because that looks so okay. Director BS aside, that looks
the
like
studio
it's
itself,
so
all that bullshit.
Sick.
Yeah.
As a Star Wars fan, that's something to be excited about, minus the side stuff. Because you know what? That stuff will sort itself out. Because there's no way a massive... Well, oh God, I hope I don't have to eat my words here, but there's no way a studio or, a film company, whatever it is, Lucas Films and Star Wars and Disney, there's no way Disney in particular are going to let something like that go.
Yeah,
Well, I know they have in the
yes.
past, and they've got a pretty questionable track record. But let's just take Disney from the last 3 to 5 years. They've done pretty well,
I
from
mean,
my
just
knowledge.
uh, just look at Mandalorian, the girl, the woman that plays Thingo. I mean, yeah.
There's a bit that yeah.
Yeah, they've definitely done it in the past.
They're, they're,
Obviously, yeah.
they're taking steps forward, and I'm just hoping this one doesn't go under the radar and ruin what could be an amazing game.
Yeah, I guess the only thing, yeah, I Eclipse itself in terms of the actual story, I'm incredibly excited for it, and I really
Yeah,
do hope it goes ahead. I guess that obviously uh my thoughts and I guess stature on the whole thing. I feel incredibly sorry for the people that have been put in that situation from
yeah,
this certain person, right? That's the thing that I probably find the
yeah,
most
yeah,
bullshit. Some of these people, this is what they've dreamed of, man. They've dreamed
yeah,
to work on a Star Wars game. They've now gotten the opportunity, and now some fuckwit,
yeah,
right, has ruined it.
yeah.
Has essentially
Or
just
potentially ruined it.
fucked it. Yeah, potentially ruined it. And they could just pull it. Like that's honestly how it could just
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Right?
Another pulled Star Wars
and,
game.
that to me, if you're like any person that's like an artist,
Remotely interested in Star Wars and an artist, yeah,
just an artist, right? Because these are what they are. They're devs. They're making art, creative art that people can go and enjoy, right, each day. And a fuckwit exists and can ruin it for every single one of them that has wanted their entire life to work on this project, and they get the opportunity, and now it can be pulled away just like that because of one person.
yeah,
And to me, like I said, I hope that they can get rid of that toxicity within the workplace, because no one deserves to work in those sort of conditions, from any walk of life, right? It
Nope.
doesn't it's not at all
Doesn't
the
even know
way
what
that it should
industry
be.
really.
No, this is bigger. This is through every single. No one deserves to have fucking
Shit.
sexist comments
Uh,
or racist comments or homophobic comments put towards them. Like no one exists. And if that's happening in your workplace, fucking say something about it. Don't be one of those bystanders. I understand that there are points and times, and there are people there like that will just freeze. Right, I understand that, but at least try to talk to someone about it, even if it's a family or friend or whatever it is, just so they can try and help you get out of that situation, because no one needs to be there, right?
yeah, get out of it, or even make it better, or rectify it, or something. There's a million and one things that can
Even
be done.
just, I mean, there's hotlines. Just talk to someone.
Yeah.
Like yeah. But yeah, in terms of the actual like gameplay and Star Wars Eclipse and all that sort of stuff, and I don't mean to be getting angry, but I am. It's a really annoying subject. But so the idea of being able to play as uh almost iconic as well as characters we've never seen before, and to see perspectives throughout the High Republic era, like that to me is super interesting.
Yep.
Like it's totally interesting to me,
Yep.
because like you
This
will
will be
see
your
it from
first.
perspective.
This will be your first.
This is my introduction to High Republic, yeah, because I sort of
Yeah.
like understood like the whole premise. This was like the golden age of Jedi, right? This is
Yeah.
like everything was peaceful. There wasn't really much conflict. It was this high period of I don't know, economy as well. Like
Yeah.
it was, they'd done it all. They got to this point. It took fucking years,
Mhm.
thousands of years to get to this point, but they were booming. And to see that sort of like levels of, well, okay, well, obviously, like you still have your Sith Empire still like lingering around, but there's like what I'm intrigued to see is what changed it all. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing in terms of that era, is like
Yeah.
the whole like
and
undoing.
That's
The
where
whole
I'm at the
undoing
moment
of it all.
in the books. That's where I'm at the moment in the books, and
Okay,
we're
yeah,
sort
that's
of.
cool.
It's only been in like, and I've read the 2, 3. I think I've read 3 of the books for the High Republic. I started the third. And the first 2 are really, really cool. There's mention of Yoda. Obviously, Yoda's probably 600 or 700 years old in this book. He's a part of the council.
I mean, he's reasonably young. He's
young.
reasonably young. Yeah.
I mean, and this, without spoiling too much, but I know a lot of people aren't going to read the books. So without spoiling too much, the Force that we see in the golden age of the Jedi, which is the High Republic, is so much stronger than anything we've seen before by a long margin.
So this is still before Cypher Deus and stuff, isn't it? This is
well before. Yeah. So,
but was Foresight more prominent in that era?
We've probably come across maybe 2 Jedi that have Foresight currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's more than what
I can recall. But there's other.
That's more than what we have in Skywalker's saga.
Yeah, man. And there's the link between the Jedi and the how the Force flows through the universe. Everyone's just so much more in tune with it right now in that era. And there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of Jedi. There's not just like I can't really remember, but I can't remember off the top of my head how many there are.
Well, they had teams, didn't they? There were basically like teams of Jedi.
Yeah. I mean, and they're
not just scouts.
So this is where it's going to be interesting because right now they have opened up like a space base on the edge of the inner rim, I guess.
Oh, the inner rim.
This is to start it's like an outreach program to the outer rim to try and increase trade and prosperity for the outer rim. Basically, that's what they want to do, and they have been.
I can already see that going wrong.
Yeah. Once you get to deep space past the outer rim, there's some very questionable shit out there, and obviously a lot of we're post
and everything. Like they're all that's where they are. That's the idea of it.
So there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of cool stuff that's happening. There's a lot of. One small example is they've got, and I don't really know how this ties together just yet, but in the first one I read, they've got a hyperspace lane, right? So if you need to go from like the core to the outer rim, you have to go in a hyperspace lane. You actually have to enter it, right? You can't just like punch in the details here, go where you got to go. So hyperspace at this point in the universe isn't fully understood. Like with what we know, they just plug in where they want to go, bang, takes them there, whatever route is quickest.
Okay, so
there was a character in the first. Yeah. Well, there's a character in the first one, an old lady, and she has this interface with a particular ship, and for whatever reason in her brain, her family know all the hyperspace routes, and there's like millions of them. As we know, there's millions of them, right? You just plug in where you want to go, bang, takes you there, quickest way possible.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With this chick, I don't know how we got here, but with this chick, she basically interfaces with the PC. She's very with the ship. She's very, very old and fragile, but she has in her brain she can make hyperspace lanes to wherever they want to go in her brain, and it just plugs into the ship and goes. So I have a feeling they're going to tie that into the development of that technology to what we see now. So I don't know how we got there, but the High Republic era is really, really cool. And if you have the time to read books or audiobooks, I recommend anybody does it, especially the High Republic stuff. It's so cool just to have a bit of an introduction to this. Yeah. And like there's already some characters now that have been common through all 3 books that are really cool.
That's what I really, really like about it. They didn't just go with a character through that period, and because High Republic, from what I've seen in terms of the comics and the books that I've like obviously seen now and then, and what you've told me, it isn't just one particular character. It's like they follow all these different storylines that sort of interweave, and then eventually it sort of like all comes to a head, and they're like, oh, that's how they all connect.
It's like multiple stories that come together for a common goal.
Yeah, and that to me is exactly how they're wanting to do the game. Like that to me, and then what I really like is that choices matter. And I know that in a video game there is always like in terms of coding there is a limit. There's always a limitation to choice, right? It's obviously there's outcomes. They could have like a strand, and it could be like, okay, this is now 5 things that we allow you to. This is different endings, right? So it goes from like 1, 2, 3, all strands, and then 5, right? I get that. I really do. But the idea that you can influence what decision you come out at the end and who essentially, I guess, in their eyes wins, because that's essentially at the end of the day, you want satisfaction from a video game, and that's generally how you get it. That would be really interesting to see that whole development. Like, I want to know how Yoda ties into an Imperial trooper that you can play. Like, that's what I just want to see. I want to understand.
Cross paths.
Like, and like, is it the the stereotypical, oh, he's just going to kill him sort of idea, or is it actually that he's just like, why do I need you? Like, why are you here? Like, is it more of that question? I don't know. It's going to be really cool to see that, and I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see the gameplay of it. Obviously, we've just seen your cutscenes. But
Yeah,
from the visuals and the stuff we've seen, I mean, I like the reaction that I had to it when we were watching it is like I was like, dude, this is different time periods? Because that's what it looked like. It
it
looked
did.
like they were
Yeah,
going through like Kajik's fall, like downfall, and then like they went back to Yoda at the council, and I was just like, dude,
yeah.
is
Well,
this the same game? It's so weird.
once I realized that once I joked that it was High Republic, it kind of all made sense.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
all made sense. I was like,
and
dude, this is sick. But the fact it's an
I'm
RPG,
I'm curious to see if the big bad from books I've been reading is the same big bad that's carrying over into the game. If that's the case, we're in for a fucking treat. Holy shit! Like,
yeah, right, yeah,
this is without being, without being like a force user of any sort. The current big bad we have is very scary.
yeah, right.
And basically, I mean, like, it's, good and evil, blah blah blah. We know that the only threat to this enemy currently is the Jedi, because that's the good, that's the evil, yada yada yada. So
This stuff makes me want to play SWTOR, man.
I've never like, and I know how powerful the Jedi are right now in this era. I know they're extremely powerful, but this enemy is arguably equally as powerful in a different way, and that's crazy.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
So if they can translate that into the games, we're in for a treat, man. It's gonna be really exciting. So I hope all the negative shit can be put to bed and sorted, and whatever has to happen has to happen. And if he gets fired, he gets fired. If he doesn't, well, I hope that there's a bloody good statement as to why he hasn't gotten fired, because that shit doesn't stand, and nobody deserves to live or work in any conditions like that. So anyway, can we touch on it without spoiling it? I don't know if it's possible, dude. Like, do we?
Look. I think okay. So I think
we're not going to spoil anything. Like,
we can touch. Listen, all right. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to Matt, and Matt hasn't heard this yet. All right, I haven't. We're gonna obviously talk about Spider-Man now, guys. All right. Yeah. Now I'm gonna say this one we'll do a spoiler free, and then probably after Christmas, in the new year, we'll talk about it. Because I reckon that's enough time. It's the holidays are going to happen. So probably maybe 2 episodes time, right?
Yeah.
So mark your calendar if you want to actually talk about it, and I'd love to hear the conversation between like the people that listen.
Yeah,
I'd love to know your thoughts, either like in DMs, Twitter, in the description, the comments below on YouTube and stuff like that. I would love to know your thoughts on it if you have seen it. Right? But we'll try to do it. Well, we will do a spoiler-free one this one, I think.
So hard.
But because there's not much information we can say about it. But so obviously I saw it on Friday, and you saw it Saturday night. You saw it yesterday.
I saw it last night. Yeah. So it's Sunday now. Yeah. We've seen
you
the last
DM'd
2
me as well,
days. I literally DM'd you when I was sitting in the cinema waiting.
Now, the first thing is, I'm incredibly surprised how well they hit it all from the media.
Yes.
I know that there was some slip ups. I know there was, and I know that there was rumors started.
There was a slip up, and then there was one completely obvious. And you pointed the most obvious one out to me: Sony, Columbia Pictures, and Disney. It was Disney and Marvel, whatever it was. As soon as those 3 were on there, plus the little normal slip up, you know what's up. Like,
you know what's up. You know what's up.
3 studios like, hey, we're gonna get around this, because we've got to. If you haven't seen any of the series, like Loki in particular, we've got a multiverse to build, and they've been building it since 2002. When was the first Marvel movie that effectively came out? Like 2003, 2004?
Yeah.
Whatever. That's how long this has been. But this is the long game, and we are in the middle of it, and it is fucking exciting, bro.
It's incredible. I was wondering. I was worried. Okay, so I was completely worried at the beginning of this phase 4, right? How are they going to build this up again?
They've already built it.
Essentially, well, because end game, right? So at the end of the end game, if you're following the entire like storylines and watching all the TV shows, at the end of the end game, the team basically broke up. Like the original cast, like that we've seen and grown up with, which is incredible to me to still think about. They all either were dead, died, or moved on, or had in between gotten older or whatever, right? So to me, I was just like, man, bro, like who do we have left? Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man. Who else do we have? Like Doctor Strange, sorry. Doctor Strange.
Strange. Thor.
With
Guardians.
Thor,
I mean, there's still a pretty
Guardians,
good cast there.
yeah, I mean
It's still
Panther,
pretty
Black
good.
Panther as well. Yeah, so there was a few
Wait, who's
left,
carrying
right?
the Black Panther? Who's carrying the Black Panther?
They're still
mantle?
they're not sure yet. They're
Okay,
still
okay.
no one. Okay, so no, sorry, no one will reprise the role of Black Panther.
Of course,
No one.
yeah. No one
Right?
can.
But-
Nobody can.
Yeah, they're
Not
not
possible.
going to. As respect to Chadwick, obviously, and no one could do it better, in my opinion. But obviously, they're going to still carry on the legacy of it. That's why Black
Yeah.
Panther 2. But I'm really intrigued what they're going to do with that, and I think
Very
they're trying to
happy
keep
about
that a
that.
secret as well. But yeah, so we've got Winter Soldier's there. Okay, so there's a few left, right? But how do you like? I was like, how do they build this up again? Because like it's essentially that, right? It's taken. Bro, it took like 10 years to get to this point.
Uh-huh.
And then there was like, okay, this is the big bad. This is the nuttiest ensemble that we've ever seen on screen.
Yeah.
All this shit that happened in the end of Endgame.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just like, now. And then like,
You know, it's like it's like a roller coaster, right? We've hit this peak
yeah.
and we're at the top, and an Endgame came out, and it's like, whoo, that was just a huge rush. And now we got to the bottom, and we had a few nice series in between to fill it out and give us more context and stuff that's going on in between those time periods. And now it's like we're on the up again, and it's just like, holy shit! Like,
and I love it. If you guys have not, and you were following this, and the movies really aren't making sense, it's because you need to watch the TV shows.
yes,
TV shows are tying everything in, right? And I know that that's kind of probably annoying for some people, but the thing that's really good and the way they've done it, right, is not like an Arrowverse sort of idea where you have to watch like Arrow, then Flash, and then Batgirl, and then tie it all back into Supergirl and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't need to do that. You don't have to keep watching every episode after each other, right?
Yeah,
'Cause that's how they set it up, right?
Yeah.
This is literally, you can grab one of the series and watch it.
Yep.
Right. And then you'll go, oh, that's where that ties into that. And then
Yep.
you can grab that one and go, oh, that's where that ties into that. So
Yeah.
there is times to do that. Also, watch What If, because I know it's an animated series, and I know that some people don't like animated series, but What If is an incredible series, and it
Yeah.
answers a lot of these questions,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy to think in
Bro, can you-
Spider-Man.
I'm sorry to tie this back to Star Wars, but can you imagine not watching the Clone Wars series and then watching all the other shit? Can you
sorry.
imagine not watching the Clone Wars series and then watching Mandalorian and seeing this new character? And who the fuck is this?
Well, that's it.
With
Like,
no
who the hell's
context.
Ahsoka?
So like
Yeah.
she's irrelevant to 90% of the fans.
Yeah, I know.
No one knows who
I
she
know.
is. I buy the
Yeah, I
pop
know.
finals. I'm like, yo, this is sick, and everyone's like, who the fuck is that? I'm like,
Yeah.
so
Well,
like,
it's like
I don't know,
Revan.
one of the
It's
best
like-
characters in
yeah.
Star Wars, and Revan.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's same as Revan. Revan, a lot of people just don't know who Revan is. And you're just like,
to fucking Revan.
what?
Anyway, sorry to
Until
tie that back to
Revan,
Star
yeah.
Wars, but
No, that's fine.
I'm
Yeah,
just-
but okay, so
I just want to put
we
like
can-
my
what we
generic
can-
comment with,
Well,
with
okay,
this
so
movie.
I will say, Matt, all right, I'll give you this, right? In the
Yeah.
trailer. We'll go off. This is how we're not going to spoil it because
Yeah,
it's in the trailer. If you guys
correct,
don't watch
it
the
is in the
trailer,
trailer,
for fuck's
yeah.
sake.
Get
So
your shit together and watch a goddamn
There's-
trailer, especially the
there's
Brazilian one.
every villain
Yeah.
is in the trailer. So
Yeah.
we can talk about the villains,
It's true.
right?
Yeah.
It's on IMDb as well that we can
Yeah.
talk about a certain Green Goblin.
Yeah,
Right?
he's there.
So he's there. He's
Norman,
in there, right?
Norman.
So
Normally.
we can talk about the villains. All right.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what we.
So you know what we've got Mr. Dr. Osborne. We've got Mr. Octavius fucking Octopus Man. And
playing Green Elf.
and
Oh, bro.
no spoilers
Such a good
here,
line.
no spoilers here.
no.
So we've got those two villains.
Yeah.
Lizardman.
Electro,
Yep, Lizardman, Electro, and Sandman.
Man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Pretty
Stack cast.
massive.
Stack cast.
Yeah, it really. It's like
It
an
is
Avengers
honestly
movie, but
Yeah, no. This is on par. I was gonna say this is on par with Civil War.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is on
agreed.
par with Civil
yeah,
War.
Yeah,
like,
agreed.
the cast is huge, man. when
Yeah,
you,
bro.
Like
I'm-
think about it.
Yeah, well, it's almost like we've had all this Spider-Man content forever, and I always, and in particularly when the Garfield
We have.
Spider-Mans came out, the amazing,
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man.
amazing Spider-Man, amazing. He's amazing. Garfield was amazing. I stopped paying attention at that point in the Spider-Man stuff because I was like, oh, okay, just a reboot, whatever. And I kind of wish I didn't. And I have watched them since.
I
and
love those
them.
movies.
I really like them. Garfield, every
Second, man.
Spider-Man has had their own quirks, and
Yeah.
it's sick. I am not angry about it. I know a lot of people give hate to Toby or hate to Garfield because he was cooler, or he shot webs out of his arms because he could, and yada yada yada, whatever. Like, and now we've got Tom Holland, who's just awesome. He's just young, he's fun, he's just brought. He has single-handedly will carry a lot of people over from Phase 3 Endgame into the new stuff, literally by himself, because of who he is as a actor.
Yeah, I think the best thing about No Way Home is I said to you before the podcast, the biggest.
You can't say the best thing without spoiling it, so just put it like the third best thing.
Okay, yeah, like third best thing of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it's just so the one thing that I've always worried about with Spider-Man movies is like, because obviously we've had now Homecoming, Far From Home, and now No Way Home, right? So I've always kind of it's gonna sound bad. I've always found Tom really annoying.
Yeah.
As a Spider-Man.
He's a kid.
Well, it's Civil War as well, actually. When we first got introduced to him, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool because he's a kid, and he's just like the first like iconic line that everyone knows, like, "Hey everyone," it's just like, dude, come on, man, like you're just a kid, and that I think that was how they were portraying it, right? He was just a teenager from Queens, man. That's it. Like
16 at the time.
Yeah, 15, 16. He was just meant to be in school. Like that was it, right? And then, so then when he got like Homecoming, that kind of made sense. Like that was just that whole sort of introduction to him. Yeah, he was young and all that sort of stuff. But Stark was sort of, Tony was trying to guide him and make sure that, you know, he didn't fall off the rails. Really. Yeah, he was guiding him, right? And then obviously Endgame happens, and then like he loses him. He loses his father figure.
Yeah.
Father figure, really.
Like, the other way around. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. and then yeah, so Far From Home was all that sort of idea of dealing with grief and how do I become my own person, because I was really just like the sidekick, the side.
Well, in the shadow of Tony Stark, arguably one of the greatest superheroes of all time. Yeah.
And then like all that technology, like he sort of just left to Peter, right? Yeah. And it was just like, oh, okay, cool. So I guess he's just going to be the new leader, right? To me, that was kind of frustrating a little bit. Right? Like to me, Far From Home is one of the most standout movies that I've seen in, like, cinematography wise. Like, I mean, I go crazy for that shit, but that was a trip. And Mysterio, they nailed Mysterio in terms of character, and like I can only really base it off the Spider-Man 2 game with Mysterio did unbelievably well with Mysterio. I think they nailed him. Right. And to see that sort of come to life in its live action, I was just like, dude, this is crazy. Like that scene where he's in the warehouse and he shows him like different things, and then, you know, he almost gets hit by a train and things like that. That just that to me was just like that to me was Mysterio. Right. And so that was once again technology, though. Like he was still relying on Stark technology and his suits, and not really like he sort of had everything. Right?
Yeah, he did. He had everything he could possibly want.
Yeah, he has
to enhance himself as to be the best Spider-Man he could be. Which, I mean, that suit did wonders.
He made heaps of suits, right? And that's sort of what Spider-Man does. It was tries to improve himself, makes better tech. Yeah, that's the Peter side of it, and that's where I think they really nailed Peter Parker. Right? I think, like I said, I've always said to you that I found Amazing Spider-Man had a really great Spider-Man, but a really terrible Peter Parker. Yeah, he's not a skater boy. He's not a cool kid. He's not meant to be. He's meant to be smart.
Supposed to be a nerdy
like
Tobey
sort
Maguire
of teenager, right? Yeah. And then Tobey, in my opinion, wasn't a great Spider-Man, but a really good Peter Parker. Right? Yeah. Like, yes, he was the first Spider-Man, so I sort of still have a soft spot for that. But then Tom sort of came along, and I think he had a good balance, but I always found he was just too immature, and I think that's what they've wanted to have happen.
Yeah, that's right.
And in this one, I just feel like what they've done in No Way Home is just completely strip him. Like they've literally just stripped him away from like how. And I think that was probably like one of the descriptions or like one of the dot points that they probably put up on the thing. How do we mature Spider-Man? Yeah, and I think that's probably they nailed it.
That's yeah.
Like,
in the best way possible. Really, I couldn't be happier with how they've gone about it for him, but also you can't spoil it that way. this is hard for us because like this
Yeah,
movie
it's
is
difficult.
it's like a movie of spoilers, really. And if you
Yeah,
let one go, the whole thing just cascades, and you'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
you
I
go
will
see
say
it.
the acting was up to an incredible standard.
Yeah.
Um, I think the fact that they got, I know William Dafoe. I can't remember the actor for Dr. Octavius. I can't remember his name, but
Yeah.
to get two iconic actors, man, and Dafoe nailed it. Like
Oh,
he is honestly Green Goblin, and
Yeah.
you just can't deny that, man. And then like to have to have Jamie back, Jamie Foxx back as
Yeah.
Electro was just incredible again. They all came back. It was crazy. Like I know that there was a bit of CGI involved and stuff like that. They made Octavius look younger. They made Sandman look younger. They made like Lizardman once again. I mean, most of the time they were both all CGI because obviously but
they're CGI
the fact
characters.
that they got the actors to do
Yeah.
it still, like, oh man, that was incredible. And the fact that the way they introduced him as well is
super cool.
There were little things as well that they'd sort of they basically knew the running memes of like basically all the villains from all the other movies.
Yeah.
And so they ran with it. They 100% ran with it. And I fucking I love that when like doesn't take it too seriously about that shit, you know? Like there are this I don't know, man. It's a masterpiece.
It is.
I'm not, and this is me being biased. This is me being like I know I'm biased towards MCU, right? I'm a big. I mean, I've got fucking pop vinyls. I got Star Wars on the wall. It's just this.
It's just good. It's just good. We have never in the history of mankind had entertainment of this quality and of this running for this long.
And Hawkeye is incredible.
Oh yeah, it's
I'm
honest.
No, Hawkeye
you know
is.
What? How many episodes of that are out? Because I think we're going to binge that Christmas Eve. Do you reckon that's a good series to binge Christmas Eve? Yeah, it's Hawkeye. Of course it is. Don't be stupid.
Oh, it is. It's 100% great. It's great. Yeah, because that I'll tell you that ties into Black Widow.
Yeah. No,
it does.
I love her.
Yeah. In the movie, it ties back to the movie. Yeah.
Well, I figured it probably would at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a good relationship.
I mean, yeah. And then, I mean, okay, so if you are going to just see Spider-Man No Way Home, just finish it off. Stay to the fucking end. The end. The end. Do not the very end.
You have post credit, and then you have post credit, and you need to stay until the lights completely come on and the cleaners come in. Like, wait, just wait. Holy shit!
Wait. Because I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. I was expecting something.
At you here. I'm going to throw something at you here. Do you think, had we not had the last 2 years we've had, do you think that would have been the trailer at the end of that movie?
No.
Like, do you think that
No, it would already been out.
Correct. So I wonder if it's been. I want to know. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Marvel guys, if you haven't watched a Marvel movie in your world ever, go watch one and wait to the fucking end, because there's always little sneak peeks, right? This one was sick. One? Oh, maybe it was more than one. Anyway, I don't think that's a spoiler because every Marvel movie's got them, and it seems to be, there's a theme there.
Absolutely no.
I don't think the one we got at the end, the very end of this one, that is really,
it was meant to be
really cool. But I don't think that would have been there otherwise, because that seemed like we're just like, well, we have to tie this into the next thing, so let's put this here.
Okay, so we know that 100% the timeline changed because Black Widow was meant to be the first one, and they couldn't do that due to reasons of the first lockdown happened.
Yeah.
And so they started with the Captain America, kicked it off on Disney Plus. Yeah. So they changed it all.
Series, bro. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on, and it's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's its own storyline, man. That whole what happens at the end of that is its entire own storyline.
You know what I can't wait for? Do I wait until my son's 8 or 9 before I introduce him to Marvel, Spiderman and shit?
Yeah.
Like,
you want them to understand it.
Cannot wait introduce you to all that and go through this
To be honest,
whole
no,
thing.
I mean,
That's
to be
gonna
honest,
so good.
okay. I mean, to be honest, like 5 or 6 is fine because they won't understand the actual like, but the action itself, like,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, I'm talking about like going right back to the original Spider-Man.
Yeah, Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh, the originals.
Yeah,
oh,
I mean, you
okay.
have to.
Yeah.
You kind of have
I mean,
to
yeah,
start
you
at the
do,
start. Like that's 2000. I was 12 when that shit came out. 2002, man. I just
Yeah, I mean,
about to start high school. We've been doing this now for 20 years, bro.
That's I don't know.
Nuts.
Ah, man. And yeah, my inner 8-year-old in this movie was screaming, like
and
it was
crying and excited and eating cake and going hyper.
like that. Like, like the first act, I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is gonna," and the second act kicked in, and I was in tears, like on the verge of tears for every 5 minutes. It
was just sick. There's just a lot going on.
Unreal,
anyway,
man.
Do yourselves a favor. If you're not up to date, get up to date and go see Spider-Man. Even if you're not up to date, go see Spider-Man. It's such a good, fun movie. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, and even if you're not a massive fan of Marvel and all sorts of stuff, it's still a good, fun movie.
It's a great movie. Yeah, it's a great.
Really, really cool. Speaking of great movies, I think the next thing I didn't want to touch on this really briefly, but there was a poster that came out, and it was a Thor: Love and Thunder sort of teaser poster, I guess you'd call it. Now I don't know if it's fake. I don't know if it's been. It only just came across my screen like midweek, and I was like, "Ooh, we need to suss this out." Anyway, there's a picture of Lady Thor in it, and I want to say Lady Thor because it's like it looks to see some kind of female Thor, or it could be anything really.
Yeah, well, we know that
we're assuming where it's Natalie Portman, correct? Is that where we're at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're assuming it's Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
It kind of has to be.
It's got to be.
Makes the most sense.
Well, she's been she shows in the poster that she's wearing armor, and there are a couple other posters that I don't know if fan made or whatever, but they're definitely showing the armor.
Melanie, did she have the hammer?
No.
I could have sworn she did in the poster. Anyway.
Maybe.
It's really cool. Do you think that's the thing that's going to happen in Love and Thunder? I mean, Love and Thunder.
Well, I mean, they introduced like Lady Thor has existed,
of course,
like in the comics. Multiverse as well. But I don't know, man. I Love and Thunder just looks like a fun time. It's just gonna be fun. Guardians and Thor together, dude. Like that's unbelievable.
Duo. It's the ultimate duo. Makes me so happy.
Chris Pratt and Chris, man. That's just two Chris's together.
I actually yeah, go.
No, you go.
This is unrelated to Marvel, but I saw just before. It was a trailer. It's called Limitless with Chris Hemsworth, and it's basically Chris Hemsworth going on like a longevity journey. And it's funny because I've done a bit of study and research into longevity and all sorts of stuff, and a lot of the doctors he talks to in this series, the Disney series is coming up. A lot of the doctors he talks to in this series are actually doctors that I've been like watching and listening to for years and years. It's kind of cool to see that wrapped up with Chris Hemsworth because he's one of my favorite actors by a long margin.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, anyway, that's that. I thought it was interesting. I'm keen to see that. It's another series coming to Disney. Disney just kicking goals right now, huh? Aside from the fact they are the dickheads.
Wait, it's coming to Disney?
It's coming on Disney. I believe it's a series.
Wait, Love and Thunder's.
No, not Love and Thunder. No, this is Limitless. Yeah, right. This is Chris Hemsworth's own thing.
Oh, right. Okay.
But obviously Disney owns his ass.
No,
so.
I was just gonna say that I remember Ellie told me this actually that Chris Pratt and Hemsworth when they were doing the Infinity War ones when they were like when they first like sort of started doing the whole thing, Hemsworth was like really like nervous to be around Pratt.
Really?
Yeah, because Pratt was such a good improviser.
Ah, yeah, true.
He was like well, I can't think of the word right now, but yeah, he was like just he couldn't get over. He was just so
impressed,
but also
and
like
probably intimidated. As well.
Intimidated. That's it. Intimidated by Pratt because of how well he could act.
Yeah, right.
So
I feel like Chris is
crazy.
I mean, aside from being Thor, Hemsworth is. I feel like he's very genuine. That's that's just gut feel from what you see in movies and stuff. Yeah. But his characters.
And then Pratt's the larrikin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what you get
is what you get from Pratt.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think Pratt would take much. Yeah, I don't think he would take anything seriously, bro. Yeah, exactly.
And that's why Guardian suits him perfectly.
Yeah, because apparently, like that's it. Most of like apparently most of Infinity War was just all improv by Pratt, and Hemsworth was just like, how do I keep up with him?
Yeah,
That was it. Like, yeah,
that's super cool.
Yeah, that whole like that part where like he's imitating my voice, that was not scripted. That's unreal. Yeah, Pratt just went with it. He rolled with it.
That's so cool. I'm gonna have to watch that scene.
Yeah,
it's funny crazy. When you look back at the scenes that they improv versus actual scripted, and you can kind of tell sometimes the stuff that's off story, the off story conversations. You can tell a bit of improv involved, which is super cool. But
well, it's like when he's got the when he's got the Power Stone, right? And he drops it. He's like handing it over. He drops it. He didn't mean to drop the prop.
Yeah, right.
He was just meant to hand it, but because like he stayed in character, and that suited Star-Lord's character more than just handing it over.
Yeah, true.
They kept that's why. Yeah, James Gunn kept it in. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Crazy. Yeah,
that's
little things like that, man. Just bring the character to life. But can we touch on it real quick? I know we're going a bit. Okay. I know there's a big one, but
we had a big week.
We have sort of put the 20-minute recap as well in TGA. So
yeah, that's true. That's
why
true.
It's also gone over. But so you've obviously in the background you have a steering wheel next to you now, which is exciting as all fuck.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
So you've started iRacing.
I did.
But you had a crack. You had a crack, I should say.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I've like gone balls deep into it yet, and I believe me, I want to more than anything. Which is why these Christmas holidays are gonna be awesome. But so Monday night,
you found it?
Monday night, I plugged in the old steering wheel and pedals and jumped in, got my settings sorted, and had a bit of a practice run, and it was really, really fun. I got well, this week was Tsukuba. I don't know how to pronounce that. Tsukuba racetrack. Tsukuba. Anyway, so that was a track that was this week's track for racing, I guess. Is that how you say that? Was I right? Yeah, cool.
Yep.
So I just basically jumped into that track because that's the track that was everyone sort of doing, and just tried putting in decent lap times. And like the first night I got what was that, 1 minute 5.5?
1 minute 30. Yeah, 1 minute 30. I can't remember. I'm doing 34s, I think. No, wait, no, 1 minute. Yeah, no, 103s. Yeah, 103, 105s you were doing. Yeah, 105s.
I was doing 105 and a half, which I was pretty happy about.
Unreal, man.
Considering
unreal.
I had sliding pedals, sliding seat, and my steering wheel and feet were basically in the same spot. So I was like leant over a 90-degree angle. Super uncomfortable.
You were dog tired.
Yeah, and that too. It was a long day. So that was a bit rough, but I had fun and it was good. Pretty decent time. And that's right, I was like 30 miles from the screen, which that makes such a difference. Such a difference.
That's why I'm like wanting to. Yeah, I might look into that actually.
Basically, I was sitting in the back seat of the car trying to drive around the track fast, which was really hard. Anyway, it was good fun. And then I went to work the next day and I was thinking about it basically all day. I was like, how can I like fix this situation I've got where I'm too far from the screen, everything's moving, it's just really uncomfortable setup. So I came home and I was like, well, I've got a fourth screen, which I usually use the fourth screen as like when I'm building PCs, just to plug it in, just so I've got something easy access, and it's cheap Acer screen. It's a piece of shit, but it does the job. And I was like, all right, cool. So the spare desk I've got, I'll put to my right here, which has got my steering wheel, as you can see there. For the guys watching at home, it's just on my right here. For the guys listening, I have another desk next to my computer with basically somewhat of a sim setup, which is pretty cool. Anyway, I plugged it in, and because it's against a wall, the pedals don't move. The pedals are just a bit further back. It's still not ideal, but the pedals are a bit further back. So everything is a bit more comfortable. And like within 3 laps, I knocked basically half a second off my time, and I nearly cracked the 104s. Nearly got into 104s.
Yeah, which is unreal, man.
Yeah.
I actually cannot believe how quick you've adapted. Like that was good. I just in time. It's just give me some time.
It is time. I just need more laps and other tracks as well. That's what I'm keen on.
Yeah. And then I'm just keen. Like obviously, I want to be there for your first race.
Yo, I probably will stream that. I will stream that.
Yeah, I would love that.
I haven't streamed for ages too. I'm really disappointed with myself.
So maybe in the Christmas week. Maybe in the Christmas week we get into the first race there.
Yeah.
You get a bit more confident in the car, and then
I think that's what I do
that week.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So I'll tell you as well, man. I'll literally be like, dude, these times are fine. If you go doing these times, you'll be good.
Yeah, and that's what it sort of comes down to. Like, I need to I'm going to try to put some time in this week. I don't really think I've got anything else really planned this week after work. I've got a little bit of Christmas shopping left to do.
Yeah, same.
Which is really not that much. And then, yeah, I can just maybe drive a little bit and play some games. I haven't played a game that's not iRacing for like 3 weeks. I haven't played a game for 3 weeks.
It's crazy,
I
man.
can't remember what I was playing before this. Like, what happened? I started a job.
I don't know. Yeah.
Started a new job. Yeah, that's been a little bit mentally draining, but that's all good. So yeah, I'm a little bit like, what was I playing?
I don't know. I think
I just don't remember.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, right. That's sad. That's sad. That makes me upset.
I wasn't playing many games actually as well.
Yeah, but you've still had your fallbacks, your league and
racing. I can't remember what I was playing. Oh, New World. You were playing New World.
Yeah, that's right. I did play a bit of that, and then I put it down for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week, next week, we're gonna get into some gaming. I'm gonna have a bit more to talk about. We'll have a bit more to talk about in terms of actual games, which is kind of cool. I think iRacing is gonna be a big part of that. Is there any good games coming out? I know there's some movies coming out in the next couple of weeks as well. What's coming out Boxing Day this year? Anything cool?
Matrix.
Matrix actually comes. I thought it was next year. What? I thought the game came out. Get out of town.
Matrix comes out after Christmas.
I'm very excited for that. Oh my god.
Man.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's Boxing Day.
I think. No, I think it's 29th.
I am fine with that.
Yeah.
All right, podcast listeners, get ready for that because that movie, you and I should try to plan to see it at the same time so we can debrief on it and then podcast it. What day is the 29th, actually? Quick, look, calendar. The 29th is a Wednesday, so actually it might come out on the 30th. That might be more sense. In any case, we're going to see that movie.
Yeah, I'll see Matrix.
That is going to be a big topic for discussion because there is so many interesting themes to unpack with the Matrix. Not to mention Neo, Keanu Reeves is a legend. So yeah,
he's amazing.
That's you got to look forward to, guys. There's plenty to look forward to. We've got so much.
I don't know. Actually, I was just thinking about it. I don't know if there will be a podcast next weekend because it's Christmas, and I don't think I'll be around.
Oh really? Do you want to no, you know what, guys? We'll talk about this off cast. Let's wrap it up, Matty. Guys, thank you so much for the support. Has been wild. Our 3-part series, the third part being out today, Sunday, has been really cool and really well received by everyone. And thank you so much for feedback, comments, and just the love has been so good, bro. I'm blown away, actually.
See Spider-Man.
Go see Spider-Man. We will see you. We will have something out for you next week. How about that? We'll have something out for you next weekend to celebrate Christmas and to celebrate maybe a year recap. Ooh. Anyway, thanks guys. We will see you next week.
See ya.